Hello, how y'all doing? This is part two. I'm going to talk about Naomi Judd, the incompleted scream. Now, one thing about mental illness is that it strips you of all your personas. If you have a persona that you have been careful to cultivate, a mental illness strips you of all your personas and reveals the real you. Because you got to understand, these selves are trying to jockey for dominance. They're trying to get the fake you, the fake you out of the picture, and they want to reveal themselves. Okay, now our picture of Naomi is glamorous and ladylike and soft-spoken and southern. That's what our picture is. But see, she has these other selves. Rebellion. I'm going by the book. She has she's a manipulator. She gives the people a middle finger, particularly in traffic, y'all. Inappropriate verbiage. You know, she just says things inappropriately to people. Rebellion, raucous behavior, a bully, a thief. She stole some pills. Like I said, obnoxious behavior, a control freak. She steals. She's untrustworthy and she lies. Okay, those are some of the selves that Naomi says she has. And so when these mental illness, these selves are jockeying for position, they're jockeying for dominance. They're saying, look, this image you have of this, a glamorous image, soft-spoken, southern, get out of here. I'm going to be dominant. Okay, so these selves that she has were jockeying. It became a mental illness, so therefore they want to be dominant. These cells want to be dominant. It reveals who you really are. If, for example, if you go into a depression and you just don't bathe for like 5 days, no, what does that mean? You don't bathe for 5 days, you don't care about your hygiene. What does that mean? Is that you never bathe for 5 days. You never did like to bathe. That's really what that means. You only bathe because, you know, maybe your job demanded that you bathe. Your job demanded that you bathe. Okay, you can't be a singer and get on stage and you haven't bathed in 10 days. You can't do that. Your job demands that you bathe. Okay, if you don't comb your hair, you don't groom yourself, what does that mean? You never like to do any of that. You never like to do any of that. Let me fix myself. Okay, you never like to do any of that. Groom yourself to try to look half decent. Okay, that's really what that means. These personas, these obnoxious behavior is coming to the surface. And like I said, they're going to strip you of your persona, whatever your personas are. Your persona being nice and sweet. They're going to strip you of all your personas and show the real you. She's a thief. She stole medication. She says inappropriate behavior, inappropriate verbiage. She's a liar. Okay. She lied to her first husband that Winona was his and Winona was by this other man that she got pregnant in high school. She's a manipulator. She manipulated the EMTs, the paramedics, the other nurses. Obnoxious behavior. She was non-compliant with the medical staff. Control freak. Excuse me. Itching. It's fall, so everything's falling down. Itching. Okay. Everything is out here. Okay. Hospital. All these non-compliant behaviors manifest in the hospital setting. Now, a lot of these behaviors passed on to generation after generation. Okay, Winona has a spirit of rebellion. She started rebelling at 13 years old. She's still rebellion. And when I see them together, what I see is Naomi Judd, the ladylike, soft-spoken Southerner. She got this big linebacker of a daughter who can sing. Okay, but she's a linebacker, and so because she's a linebacker, what I see is Winona bullying her mother. I know, see, that mindset was passed on to Winona, because Winona's a bully. I mean, she said that in her book. So, the linebacker who can sing, she always bullying her mother. Every time I see them on Oprah together, Winona says with her big self, you did this, I didn't even know my father was so-and-so. You didn't even tell me who my real father was until I was 30. Just embarrassing Winona right there on stage. Why? Because she's a bully. And see, people who with a spirit of rebellion, number one, they hate their parents. Winona says she's non-compliant. So that passed on to Winona. Winona got that same spirit of rebellion. But see, people with the spirit of rebellion hate their parents. That's the first characteristic. They don't obey the parents. They hate their parents. They don't want to comply with anybody. They don't want to comply with doctors, nurses, nobody. Okay, no, I can see why Winona didn't go to college, because you got to comply with cannot be non-compliant in a college environment, because you got to write those papers whether you want to or not. Okay. So my impression of Winona, since she is a bully and she has a spirit of rebellion, that she's going to bully her mother at every opportunity. She's going to bully her come hell or high water, even though her mother is elderly. I mean, she's in her 70s? She's too old to be bullied. You know, at some point you got to stop. You got to stop bullying your mother. Now, for example, you know why Mrs. Naomi was going through this thing with her sickness. Winona never called her once to say, how are you? Are you breathing? Why? Because she didn't know. She didn't care for her mother, didn't like her, could care less about her mother. So she never called her once to say, are you breathing today? How are you today? Nothing. Okay, the whole, at least the year that she went through with this sickness, Winona never called to say, how are you? Okay, somebody asked him, would they do some type of concert? This is in, I think, 2015. Winona agreed without even consulting her mother to say, are you even up to doing a concert? Just says, okay, she did a concert. So Naomi wore this cheap dress that she bought and Robin Leach, you know, the lifestyles of the rich and famous, that he didn't like the dress. He said it was a hideous dress. And so Winona goes back to Robin Leach and says, you need to apologize to my mother for saying that, it is a hideous dress. And so that's what Robin Leach did. And so Winona said this, nobody insults, told her mother that, Naomi. Winona told her mother, Naomi, this, nobody insults you but me. That's a heck of a thing to tell your mother. Nobody insults you but me. I tell you, the Lord strike me down if I ever say that to my mother. Nobody insults you but me. Man, you know, I give the Lord permission if I ever say something like that to my mother. I give the Lord permission to strike my butt down. But see, the problem is not only Winona has a deep rebellion, but look, she's still rebellious against her mother. She still insults her mother. Okay? And look, like I said, her mother has no defenses, not only because of this illness, but her mother doesn't have any defenses. Winona's built like a linebacker. Her mother's all skinny and dainty, and Winona's built like a linebacker. So Naomi already lost that fight. I mean, like I said, I was floored when she said that. See, as your mother is aging, you need to stop bullying her. If you listening, stop bullying her. I'm going to talk about part 3 next.